I'm Jonathan Robinson, and this is Fret Buzz. Hello, welcome back to the Fret Buzz. I have missed you. I hope you missed me. Sorry we took 2 weeks off there, but we had a ton of videos coming out, and Derek was working overtime editing. He wouldn't let us chain him in his little office to edit 24 hours a day, so we figured we would take a little break. But hopefully today's episode is going to have some great videos for you. If this is your first time tuning in, Fret Buzz is where I go through the old interwebs, the YouTube, and pick my favorite guitar videos. Some of them are teaching things, some of them are history things, just all things guitar. I pick those, I put them out to you guys, and that way if you don't have hours to surf YouTube, I'm sort of doing it for you. So, that said, let's jump into today's videos. Number one is from a channel called the Songbirds Foundation. If you're not familiar with them, they're a fantastic organization out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. They've got like a museum there. They have shows there. They do a lot with music education. They're just all about preserving music, preserving instruments, the history, where things came from. Fantastic folks. Check them out online. Their YouTube channel is great because a lot of times they have sort of bigger name players come in and play historic instruments from the past and talk about them, tell stories. On this particular one, it's called Robben on the Telecaster, and then they pose the question, is it the ugliest instrument of all time? So you get Robben. He's chatting. Obviously, he plays some cool Telecasters. He's chatting about the Paul Butterfield Blues Band and Mike Bloomfield and how that sort of drew him to the Telecaster, how he ended up playing Telecasters, about how as a young guy he did not like them. He thought they were ugly, and how those things have all changed as he picked up the instrument over the years and played it and his influences. So you get to hear Robben play, you get to hear some great stories from him, and great history and always good insight just about guitar and the amazing things he does with one of those. So Songbirds Foundation, Robben on the Telecaster. That's number one video. It's fantastic. Number two, now normally on the Fret Buzz, I try to keep it within sort of a 7-day period, the best of the week. But since we skipped a couple weeks, I let myself cheat a little bit, and I picked some of my favorites from the last 2 or 3 weeks that were on my list for previous episodes. And I'm actually going to give you a couple extra videos today. But number two is actually a channel I really enjoy. It's called 5 Watt World. Their whole motto is getting the most out of the least gear. So Keith at 5 Watt World, he does some great sort of short history videos where he goes through, a short history of the Telecaster or a short history of, I watched one on Gretsch the other day where he did a short history of the Duojet, all kinds of things like that. But this one was really interesting. It was called the Gibson Flying V, a short history. So really cool stuff about how the Flying V came about, sort of who's played it, all the things you didn't know you needed to know about the Flying V. Pretty interesting. That was my original video for him, so we'll link that. But he just came out with another one called I Played One Rig for 30 Days. Also super interesting. He talks about sort of the philosophical and maybe also practical reasons of why you might play just a single rig instead of, switching between 5 guitars and 27 pedals and, 3 or 4 amps. Now I have a lot of pedals. I have a few guitars, not a ton of guitars. I'm a little more, I like certain things, and I just like to have, a main guitar and backup and sort of some redundancy built in. But I come at it usually from a gigging standpoint. And so I really enjoyed this video because I know, when I was on the road a ton or when I was doing a lot of cover stuff, and even now, I have a moderate sized pedal board, but I have probably 9 pedals on there, and it is set up so that I can do anything. I know all those pedals inside and out. I have the settings memorized on them. If something goes wrong at a gig, I know how to fix it really quickly. I know what to pull out of the chain, how to test it, and I can get sounds from them really easily. So he talks about all these things, the practicality of that, the pros and the cons, and just why you might want to pare down to one rig and stick with it for a few months and really get to know it, even if you have other options. So 2 videos from 5 Watt World. One's the Gibson Flying V, short history. The other one is I Played One Rig for 30 Days. He also talks about Robben, which is a cool tie-in to the first video. So as always, the links for these will be on the screen and in the description. Number 3 is a channel that I have learned a ton from over the past year or so ago, or since I discovered it. The guy's name is Kari Too Smooth Marshall. Coolest dude, cool guy, great guitar player. He plays sort of, a lot of R&B, sort of neo soul kind of stuff, mostly R&B. And so I've learned a ton about that style and the voicings for that style from him. And that's what his channel is all about. But today's video is just called R&B Chord Voicings for Guitar. And he's actually going through a song and using it as an example for an artist that he toured with and played for. So, you're getting a good look into how he actually plays it and how he embellished it some when they were on the road versus the recording. But it's just a great way if you want to dive in, if maybe you play rock and roll or blues and you want to jump into some R&B style things. It's a great primer for that. Great way to sort of just get your feet wet in that style and those chord voicings. Different way to think about the guitar. He has some really interesting insights on his channel as well. So check out his other videos. Kari Too Smooth Marshall, R&B chord voicings for guitar. Video number 4, a channel I've talked about before, a big channel. It's Mr. Paul David's. I try not to repeat channels too often, so I'm not just telling you the same 5 channels every week with whatever their newest video is. But this one was too good to pass up. It was a ridiculously good lesson. It's something I enjoy a lot, and it's called, the name of the video is The One Chord That Fixes Your Boring Chord Progressions. That's what it is. I should show you my notes. You would all laugh at me. But anyways, so it's Paul David's. He's talking about this magic chord that makes ordinary progressions sound cooler, and it's actually all about secondary dominance. He gets into that thing in the 5 of 5, but it's a way to take just sort of bland chord progressions, typical chord progressions. Maybe it's a 1 6 4 5. Maybe it's C, A minor, F, G, or whatever it is, and stick in some awesome chords. And I know for a lot of players, for me for a long time, I would see chord progression like that with like an E7 in it, and I would say, why this E7 does not fit in this key? Why is it there? We're in the key of C, it should be E minor. He explains a lot of that, talks about what secondary dominants are, how to use them, and shows you a pretty awesome chord progression in the midst of all that he builds. So we've done Paul David's video before, but like I said, this one was just too good to pass up. It's a lot of fun. So if you understand what he's saying, you could have a ton of fun with those chord progressions and understand some maybe stranger chord progressions when you see them. Number 5, just a fun video for the week. It's Robert Baker, another big channel. Robert Baker's super fun dude, got long hair like me. I love his energy. I love watching his videos. I think he does like a hair metal Monday series every week. But he does all kinds of things, talking about guitars, talking about cool vintage guitars. Some of the things are lessons, some of the things are technique sort of based stuff. This one is just for fun. It's called Wickedly Easy 80s Metal Riffs Everyone Should Learn. So it's just a ton of fun, sort of hairband, 80s metal kind of stuff that's easy to play, that you should know. Not a whole lot more to go into for that one. He did have another video that I enjoyed over the last few weeks that was basically talking about starting to think about the major scale and harmony and in intervals, and how to avoid sounding like you're in the box. So check that one out too after you watch this one. It's 3 or 4 videos back now, I think. But great channel, Robert Baker. That's number 5. The backing track of the week is Dirty Blues Shuffle in E by A. Usher Tracks. Super fun, sort of rock and blues track to jam over. As always, I will post mine and I will hashtag the Fret Buzz, Casino Guitars, and Jonathan Robinson Music. So if you play over this and post a video, make sure to use the hashtag so I can see them. If I find one that is particularly mind-blowing, I will share it on the next Fret Buzz, and we'll go from there. Be sure to click like and subscribe, hit the bell. There's a ton of cool stuff coming into the shop. We just got to 70th anniversary Masterbuilt Fender Broadcasters built by Vincent Mentrite that are absolutely mind-blowing. I think the demo just popped up maybe last night or this morning. they're some of the best guitars I've ever played. So those things are here. Still getting some cool stuff. A lot of things are slow production-wise, but there are some things that are still coming in that are pretty fun, like those, for example. So check those out. Check out our videos. We've had a couple videos coming out lately. This week is 4th of July, so everybody stay safe with all the stuff going on, all the COVID stuff, the resurgence. Make sure you're staying safe out there and staying healthy. We will see you next week. Have a great one. Happy Independence Day, and we'll see you soon.